It's oh well. Anything else we want to go into? We're at about an hour. Do we want to tailor off for this week, or do we want to hash anything else? Any last thoughts to add on?
Did you see what I wrote below at the big?
There's a lot of things written down.
They're all one thing.
Oh, okay, hang on.
I'm not actually joking. I mean, just
that's a little sick, man. But you're right. It's
there's another side to that argument, but do we even want to go into it?
Do you want to, or do you want to just skip over it?
It's your guys' choice.
It's your call, Jordan. It's your call, Jordan.
We can go into it very, very briefly, I think. It shouldn't take very long.
Okay.
Basically, the point James was making, unless you want to go ahead and say it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
Go ahead. You can go, James. I mean, Jordan.
All right. So, Ubuntu recently just took away their netbook edition and made it so that they just have one edition, just one Ubuntu with one interface and one starting programs and one configuration.
Right.
Windows has Pro, Ultimate, Starter, stuff like that.
And so, in the States, it's really 3: Home, Pro, Ultimate. But yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people are saying that I've read on OMG Ubuntu and stuff like that they actually like having separate editions. So should Ubuntu have more choice, not like restricting features like Windows has, but configuring it for that different type of user. So like having a beginner that, people talked about removing GIMP was so bad, well maybe this would be the part that removes GIMP. Then you have Ubuntu, which would be professional, which would have a different set of applications. Should Ubuntu have different versions for different configurations for different kind of people?
Well, no, and honestly, this is something I wish all distros would adopt, and that they would have their default for the type of user assigned, and they would have a web-based immediately go reconfigure and get new packs, and that you either answer like you're saying, a home user, pro, business, pre-configure, or a fourth option, custom. I want to pick.
Yeah. And a lot of people talk about how Ubuntu could fit so much more if it had on the DVD. Maybe the Ultimate would have a DVD edition. But I mean, what do you guys think about that? Ubuntu just made it so that there's only one version of real Ubuntu. I'm not talking about KDE and LXDE. I'm talking about the main Ubuntu having really only one
basically,
edition.
What's the pre-installed software? What's the pre-configuration? Is Compiz on with all the extras installed, or is it so on and so forth?
It does not come with the extra Compiz installed. It does come with some effects. It comes with...
no. That's one of my problems I've always had with Ubuntu. Unless you're a Linux veteran and know, most of Compiz is missing, you just assume it... Because it doesn't even have any of that stuff by default. It has like the most basic, but you have to go add everything else. Including
that's actually one of the things kind of confusing about 11.04 so far, is that Unity, the key component of the desktop, is a Compiz plugin, and to configure it, you have to have Compiz config settings manager,
which is not installed.
Being installed by default.
Yes, that's one of the things I've always said. The same thing with older Ubuntu's. You could go in there and turn on the 3D effects, but the configure tool to actually change any of those settings isn't installed. So you just assume you can't change them unless you know, I need the config file.
So, Jordan, what do you think? Should Ubuntu have different versions for different kinds of people, different setups?
Well, I think currently that's being covered by all the respins that they've got, but I think you're talking about having an official, you choose what kind of user you are, and this will build it for you. That sounds a lot like the OpenSUSE... is it the build service, or is it they had a service where you could go in and select your packages or your groups, and it would build you an ISO. Debian has a similar service, or did. I don't know if they still do or not. And this would be a similar idea. You go online and you say, I'm an artist, give me an artsy thing. I'm a video producer, give me video software and audio editing software. It would be very convenient. I've been saying for a very long time how convenient it would be when you start up a distro out of the box from the CD or DVD to get a big old box that pops up and says, what apps do you want? If they're on the disk, they go ahead and install them. If they're not, they either wait till you've got a connection and then install them, or whatever.
Yeah, like the first update, it'll go, well, okay, to complete your install, we need to update. Please connect to the internet.
It might take 7 hours.
Yeah, understand, yes, it might take a day, depending how much of it was here.
You say you want everything, it's going to take some time.
You think? But yeah, and honestly, the more user-friendly that is for a Linux version who doesn't really know what software they want, but they know the type of software they want, or the type of work they do, where they can just answer like 4 to 10 questions, and it will largely get it right.
That was actually one of the things that sort of confused me the first few times I used Ubuntu, because, even recently, I tried Debian again for a review I was doing, and Debian, if I remember correctly, had that pre-configurable option when you're setting it up. I'm going to set up a web server, or I'm going to set up my desktop with audio stuff, and it selects all that for you, or gives you the option to select whatever you want, rather than, here's what we've decided that you need, don't ask us for anything else without going through the Software Center. Okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad that the Software Centers and our repos are there in all the distros, but it's one of those things, here is the step with a lot of Linux distros. Install, then immediately update, because it's already out of date, then go into the center and actually get the software I want. And there's no reason all 3 of these steps could not just be the one step of install.
Well, actually, I think the newer versions of Ubuntu specifically come with a install updates while installing the distro, something like that. Download updates while installing. I can't remember correctly, but I remember that being an option.
Yeah.
But still, if it's not giving you the choice of exactly what you want your distro to be,
then you're going to have to redo it anyways.
Exactly. And at the same time, all of the respins that I've seen, at least the majority of them, have been, well, here's what we think. Here's my set of packages that you should want.
Right. And at the end of the day, that's like the UI. No matter what you choose, I guarantee you got it wrong. It's like there's this one little thing you got wrong, so let them make the choice for themselves.
Yeah, I agree. The whole deal with Linux is, choice. So I would really like to see a distro that really embraces that more.
Okay, and on that enlightenment, I guess it really is time to go out, because we have been going for about 90 minutes here. Anybody who's bothered to watch the whole show, we thank you. And hopefully, now that we've rebooted and got no glitches and stuff, hopefully there were no audio this time.
Except for that one.
Except for that one, yes. That's like, all right.